Hey guys, Steve from Gym Hub. I hope you're well. I wanted to give you a quick tip around time management. What I've found is the gym owners that are able to actually increase the number of members, the number of staff they've got, and overall, I guess, their profitability are usually the ones that use their time well. Until you actually learn how to use your time well, you never actually have the time to implement the Facebook marketing campaign that you want to. Until you actually have the time you want, you don't have the time to invest into your manager and develop those sort of key people so that you don't have to be in the gym all the time. So these three tips are things that I use. So one of them is actually set little short sprints in your day. So I find that if you don't actually have appointments and like sales appointments or things actually put into your schedule, you can sometimes arrive at the gym and you don't actually have anything booked in between 9 and 12. There's a very good likelihood that between 9 and 12, you won't actually use your time well unless you set up sprints. So my recommendation is try and look for 50-minute sprints and then actually stand up and have a stretch or have a break or have an actual walk around. So set your clock on your phone. One of my favorite things to do is actually turn off my phone or turn off my emails during a 50-minute sprint so I can focus on one task. And my goal is not to be distracted by other tasks while I'm doing that one. So I give it 100% focus. So my first tip is consider a 50-minute sprint and then actually break up your period. So if you've got 9 till 12, you want to choose one task to complete per sprint and don't actually change between tasks. A common error between, I guess, the lower performing gym owners is to be sort of working on their Facebook ad copy and then all of a sudden start to answer an email. And then all of a sudden the phone rings and you answer that. And then all of a sudden a staff member walks in the door and asks you a question. And what you'll find is you'll never actually get in flow. You'll never actually produce your very best ad copy of a high converting ad because you're simply not at your, you're not focused and you keep being interrupted. So number one is the sprints. The second tip I can give you is actually change your scenery. So one of the ways that I'll actually divide up my sprints is I'll actually change where I'm doing it. So this morning, for example, I started in a cafe and then I set a short sprint amount of time before I now go to the gym. So I'm sitting in the car and I'm about to go to the gym. So I actually sat there. I did 2 sprints this morning. So I did a 50-minute sprint, stood up, had a quick break and breather. I changed tasks and then I did another 50-minute sprint. And now I'm actually changing scenery. So I've actually put something in, which is a visit to the gym. I'm going to lift some weights and train. And then I'm going to go back into, an optimum state so I can continue the day. So I find actually, instead of sitting in the gym, instead of sitting in an office or at home for an extended period of time, if you can actually make one of those sprints or one of those sort of work blocks in a different scenery, it'll increase your creativity and it'll actually help you to work in your optimum state. So for me, this morning was a cafe. I'll then go to the gym. Now I'm going to double back to my office next. So I've had 3 different sceneries or different settings. So the first one, just to recap, is to think about sprints, 50-minute sprints, and actually stand up in between each. Only do one task when you're doing it, and don't allow interruption if you want to get into flow. The second one is a change of scenery can be really, really helpful. And I think the third one, if you haven't sort of thought of it already, is you actually need to stop and plan. So the reason I'm able to actually focus on what my sprints are and what those blocks of time are going to be used by is because last week on a Friday, I spent 1 hour where I actually sat there and I planned out my week. Now, you might not choose to do it on a Friday. You might prefer to do it on a Sunday or something like that. But it is super, super important that you actually plan your week at some point. Otherwise, when you do get the chance to actually implement, you won't focus on the tasks that are most important, the ones that are going to create that domino effect where you move one domino, it knocks over all the other dominoes and has a huge impact on the growth of your business and the impact that you can have on your members as well. So they're my 3 tips today for time mastery. When you master your time, you then become available to get better at marketing, to become a better leader, to develop and improve those key people in the business, to help out with things like sales, conversions, and potentially even looking at additional sites for your gym. I'm Steve from Gym Hub. If you enjoy these video tips, be sure to leave a comment below. Thank you.